Tuesday, 22nd of April. Bag on my back. Bag on my back. That's what I meant to say. And I'm on my own. Solo wild camp. We'll go on the grass. So I've left the car in Rookhope. I've left it in the village hall car park, and if I'm being honest, I'm not sure whether it's allowed or it isn't allowed, but I've no doubt somebody will tell us when I get back tomorrow. But there was certainly no pay meter anywhere. There is a gate, so there's a chance they might lock it on a night, but surely if they lock it on a night, they've got to unlock it on a morning. But we'll risk it. I have risked it anyway. So I'm at the moment just making myself a bit height, and I'm going up what's known as Boltslaw Incline, and there's quite a bit of history to Boltslaw Incline. And we get to the top of the incline. There's an old engine house which I'm wanting to look at. Before I set off from Rookhope, when I first arrived in Rookhope, I drove about, it's only about a quarter of a mile past Rookhope on the main road to a place called, or the place where the Rookhope Arch is positioned, and I took a little bit video of around there, so I might slot that into this video somewhere along the line. But arch, the Rookhope Arch was actually one left of, there was originally 5 arches, and they took the flues from the lead smelting plant that was down there, and the flues ran across those, in other words the chimneys run across those arches, and then across the river and across the road, and then the flues made their way all the way up to the top of the fells. Where the fumes from the lead smelting plant exhausted, like, away from all the people, and so that the people who were working there weren't being poisoned by the fumes. I've no doubt they still were, but that was the theory. So I'm walking up Boltslaw Incline, and Boltslaw Incline, which I'll show you when I get to it, had an engine house at the top. Now, I've been to an incline before. I don't know if you can remember, or those of you who watch us regular. I went to a place called Incline Top, which is in the North York Moors, above Chopgate or Chopgate, and that incline was a rope haulage, a rope incline. But that rope incline depended or relied on the weight of the trucks going down with the iron ore in, pulling the empty tubs up. So they didn't need an engine, it just worked on gravity. Whereas this one actually had a steam engine at the top of the incline. And that's because they were bringing the ore, the iron ore, the lead ore, and all the minerals up the bank. And once they got up the bank, the railway eventually found its way to Towlaw, which is where the iron smelters were. So that's the gradient of Boltslaw Incline, and it's quite a, I think I read it's 1 in 6, so that's quite a pull. So a steam engine would never have been able to do it. That's why there's a static engine. And at this point, if you look up there, it looks like they've made a cutting into the top of the hill, because if not, this would have been far too steep for the engine to pull the wagons up. So that's what they've done here. They've made a cutting. And that'll have been made in the early 1830s. So that'll have been hard graft. So I'm leaving the Incline Engine House because it's far too early anyway, and I'm going to make my way up to the summit of Boltslaw, just for a nice walk really. I probably will come back here to camp, because there's some nice flat spots and some nice sheltered spots as well, so I probably will come back here, but like I'm saying, I've got plenty of time. So this is Boltslaw Trick Point. And there's some fabulous views from here. You know, you can see way, I mean, I'm looking north there, so I suppose I'm looking towards Blanchland. I'll have a look on the map, because there's two reservoirs or tarns or whatever they are. In fact, there's 3 I can see from here, but it looks quite fertile down there. I've got a feeling right down there where it's green, I think that must be going down in the valley towards Blanchland, so that'll be the Derwent Valley. And I've obviously come up from Rookhope Burn, and Rookhope Burn meets up with the River Weir down in the Weir Valley. So I might take my bag off. I've got a bit of quiche that Liz wrapped up for us, and I'm going to eat that here. And I'll have a minute, and that's better. Nice bit of quiche. I think it's survived well. It's been in the back on the pocket on the back of my rucksack. I think it's survived well. Does not survive now though. Lovely. I'll have a look at the map when I've eaten this. Right, there we are. So the reservoir I can see straight in front of us, it says Rookhope Dam, and there's a one behind me Burnhead Dam. Just gone 5 o'clock and I'm all set up. It's a bit early like, but doesn't matter. I'll have a cup of coffee, have a chill out. It's quite warm actually, it's nice. It's a bit of a breeze, nice warm breeze though. So there we are in the Durston X-Mid 2. I'll show you around. Some nice views. And there's the setup, as usual. Thermarest, RAV 700, my electrics and my toiletries, water, my food, and only one can of beer, and no brandy. What do you think about that then, eh? I'm proud of myself. Right, I'll get the kettle on and have a coffee and a Kit Kat. Catch you later. So this is the Boltslaw Incline Engine House, and it's obviously all derelict, and it's never been in use since 1923. It would have been lovely if it had been still had an engine that you could, even if it was a rusty engine, to see, but unfortunately it hasn't. I'm pretty sure that that block there is where the engine stood, because it's a really solid piece of masonry, and it needed to be, to take the weight and all the stresses of the engine. And I'm pretty sure also that this bit here were where the drums were, the rope drums, and that's the rope that pulled the wagons up the incline. The wagons were loaded with iron ore predominantly, because this was built to provide iron ore for the smelters, the ironworks at Towlaw, and they brought them up from all the iron ore up from the various quarries that were down near Rookhope up the incline, and once they got to this incline it was pretty flat from here on, and the line sort of looped round and joined up with the line that was at the top of Crawley Side Bank, and then from there it went all the way down to eventually South Shields. But there was lots of different branches went onto it from all sorts of different places, like from Lanchester and from Sunderland, and the main one went down the Derwent Valley all the way to the Tyne. And when you think about that, we're talking about 1840s to 1850s when they were building all this. It was marvellous how they did it, marvellous. I mean, look at them bolts sticking out of the top of them. In fact, there's some there. I mean, look at the size of that. Now, they obviously were keeping the drums in place. It would have been a right hive of activity up here, and I bet it was a very dangerous job as well, because I've just read a little. There's a little notice board down there, and saying that this is where the men unhooked the wagons from the rope. I mean, I'm not sure how that worked, because I imagined that it would have been what we call in the mining industry a main and tail haulage, where you just run one set at a time from the bottom up to the top, and then you sent it back down again and get another set. But there were some sort of haulages which were called endless haulages, and the rope just kept running round and running, and you put a clip onto the rope and fastened that to the wagons. Now, that was a very dangerous system, but I'm not sure which system they used here. I've read lots of bits and pieces about it, you know, and my favourite Wikipedia and everywhere else, but there's nobody really specific as to what form of rope haulage they used, other than to say it was a rope haulage. So around here, someone's laid out some bricks, and I imagine what they've done is they're trying to depict where, I think they're trying to depict where the chimney was, because obviously not only did they have to bring iron ore up here, they had to also bring coal up to feed the boiler that ran the engine. And I think that's there, although I think it's just the bricks have just been placed there, but I think that's to give you an idea as to where the chimney was, and therefore the boiler house was probably behind me. And I have noticed that a lot of these bricks have got written on Lambton. Now, Lambton Brickworks were only about 3 miles from where I live. Yeah, that says Lambton, and that one says Lambton. You don't know? There is a better one. Lambton. Like I say, Lambton Brickworks was, it's not there now, but it was going right up until the 90s. In fact, even before, after that, I think. So Lambton Brickworks have provided some bricks for whatever they were building here back in 1839 or whenever it was built. Opening time. Guess what? McEwen's champion, 7.3. E-by gum. That's good beer, that. But I've only got one. But I'll enjoy it. I'm having chicken curry a real termite chicken curry, and I've just put the water in, so I'm giving it 8 minutes before I get stuck in. So I'll bring you back when I'm about to try it. Dinner time. Real field meal, killing curry, chicken curry. Let's give it a go. It looks a lot to me, but let's give it a go. Not as good as a Trangia Masterclass, but we'll have to make do. Sticky toffee pudding and custard. I've never had one of these for quite some time. But it was worth waiting for. Very nice. I usually have the treacle sponge, but this time it's the sticky toffee pudding. It's 25 to 11. It's really calm night. I've just been outside and it's chilly, very chilly. It's not frosty, but it's very, very cold. So I've been in the tent since about, what, 9 o'clock. Listen to the radio, and it's time I got my head down. I've had a good day. I've got a nice spot to camp in, and I've enjoyed the day. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. Night night. Good morning. It's 20 past 6, and it looks like it's a nice morning. I'm going to get myself my boots on and have a look outside, because I think there might be a nice sunrise. Mind that the sunrise will have happened a long time ago, but because it'll have been light for quite some time now. But I think it looks nice outside. There's certainly no wind. There's quite a bit of condensation on the, not on the inner tent, but on the outer tent. But that's only to be expected, I think. I've had a reasonable night's sleep. For me. Yes, it's a lovely morning. Beautiful. As I say, I've missed the actual sunrise, obviously. I'm a bit... well, I wasn't going to get up at 4:30 in the morning to say that. But I'll give you a look round. and I'm packed up, ready to go. As always, that's where I was, somewhere around there anyway, and I've left no trace. And we're going to head off a different way that we came, just for a bit of variation. I've got plenty of time. As I say, it's only 8 o'clock. I'll be back in Rookhope well before 10, I would have thought. So off we go. So thanks for watching. Give a thumbs up, press that bell button so you know when the next one's coming on, and I love to see all your comments, and I reply to every comment, maybe briefly, but if there's something to talk about, I'll have a bit chat about it on the comments. So I think that's it for now. Almost back to the car, and I'll see you on the next one.